in here, she's given birth right here, and we'll explain it in a minute, to her son. Her son is called Sut or Set. Now, Sut or Set, we say Set is one word, S-A-T, no, S-E-T, S-U-T, Sut would be the proper word, S-E-T, Set, or Seth, S-E-T-H, or Set typing. It depends on what era you're in, whether the word changed. Or later on, Satan, but we haven't gotten to that yet. We're in another era. Set is her first son, and he's given dominion over all of the heavens. You see, starting from here, this represents all of the heavens, which means all of the stars and all of the gods, the lines of divine. And even down to the God that you worship today is in here. It's just the names are changed. You clear? So he's given dominion, or he rules the celestial pole. He's the firstborn of Apis, top to earth. Earth means earth. Remember Mother Earth, this whole concept? And he's the first one. And we have that in the biblical story of, you have God, and you have the first angel, Lucifer, and he's over all of heaven, and one day God is away, he's there, and all of this. This is where it comes from. Now, what happens is, and then she's given birth to different elements all over. Now, what you have is, you have these women right here. These women represent Isis, and she's holding up the pillars of heaven. So not only is showing you that, hey, the Creator is feminine, it's showing you the person that holds up the pillars of heaven is also God, which is represented in the great goddess. Okay? Right. Right here, you have an ordinary woman. She's not a god, she's not a goddess. She's an ordinary woman, but she's an ordinary black woman in Kemet, or Egypt. So it's showing you, everything that they do is symbolic. Nothing is done without a reason. So common sense, if she's here with some significance. They don't decorate nothing. That's the Greek way, and that's our way. Symbols without substance. That's the white man's way, since we live in this planet, and this is the time we own. Everything is done for a reason. She's an ordinary woman, and an ordinary woman of that day would probably, and this concept is thousands of years old, even before the white man comes on the planet. So what it's saying is, this is the spiritual manifestation of God. This is the physical manifestation of God, because it can create the same kind of universe right out of that womb. You understand? Now, she's got her son Set, and she's giving him dominion over everything. But one day, he gets jealous because the people, the world at that time, is still worshiping her. And he wants to be worshipped too. You see, but they're still worshiping her. And later on, he gets cast out. That's the same Lucifer story, how God gets cast out of heaven, how devil gets cast out of heaven. Later on, he gets cast out. Now, what we have here is, he later on comes in another fable or another mythological story, the Osirian drama, as the evil brother. As the evil brother. But at first, he was the male prototype of which all the other gods fashioned themselves after, including Osiris, Horus, and all. And we must know that these are two different stories, because in one story you have Horus, which is represented right here as the elder. And in another story you have Horus the baby. And you can't get the stories mixed up together, because we have a creation story, then we have a story, the Osirian drama, that lays down the principles of Kemet. You see. And then you have a rebirth of Horus, and you have Set being born again as an evil, but he's being born again. His mother is Nut and Gael, the goddess Nut and Gael, and they have a son Osiris and Isis, or Osar and Set, the African name, or Heru. Horus is Isis and Osiris' son, but they have Osar, Oset, and they have Sut, and they have Nephthys, which is a Greek name also. Nephthys is the sister, brother and sister of Osiris and Isis. So you got 4 people. Now, Sut or Set is representative of a single male deity. Even though he has a sister, in some kind of way his sister is unmanifest, so he doesn't have a spiritual half to balance him off. You understand? The spiritual half comes through the female principle. Now, get over this side. Now you have Set. So he's, in this tale, he is an evil god, a god of destruction and a god of evil. And I want to show another picture of the great mother before I go on to show you another picture of this hippopotamus god, of how it really looks. You see she has she's holding the arm. She has the big stomach as a pregnant woman. You understand? These horns represent Hathor, so because she's the prototype of all great mothers. And Isis is a great mother. Isis is a great mother. Hathor is a great mother. We have Segment. This is a great mother. And these great mothers have different principles, just as the male deities have different principles. But because Seth doesn't have, because his sister Nephthys is unmanifested, he doesn't have a sister, so he's imbalanced. He has an imbalance. He comes back later as a single male deity that represents the imbalance. Now, what happens to her? Because later on, the deities change into, not necessarily Egypt, because she was around also almost to the end. They recognized her. But what happened later on, I'm talking about the Bible, and I'm talking about the Quran, I'm talking about the Torah. All of a sudden, in Genesis, we have the feminine principle being a great deceiver. She gives, she tricks Adam, so-called, stupid story, tricks Adam into going into biting the apple and all this. She becomes a great deceiver, and as a result of them messing up and all this, they got to go and she has to bear children. The childbirth is her punishment for doing this. And Adam is such a dumb fool, all of a sudden. But, the responsibility is off the man. You see how this thing becomes switched around all of a sudden? And anyway, this particular woman, the great mother, is seen in Revelation, between Genesis and Revelation, from Genesis to Revelation. The woman is seen not as a goddess anymore, not as a god, but as seen as a helper, a second-class citizen, a whore, and all of that. She becomes a whore. She becomes the abomination of the great mother. It's in chapter 17 of Revelation, verse 5 through 6 or 7. She becomes the great whore, the abomination. That's called a harlot.